let's move right along here. All right, Mr. Gillespie. Today was kind of a branch manager day. If you're not a branch manager, don't worry. Things still apply as always. You know why, Carl? Because branch managers are people too. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So you wanted to share a couple of key points that could help you scale fast. That was the schmeal that we were talking about, and we do have a giveaway for you guys. Just stand tight or hold tight. We'll give you the link for the giveaway. But Kevin, what did you want to go over with us today?
Well, Carl and I just were on a call talking about this. Is a lot of the things that used to work aren't working. Some of them still are, but others aren't. But so we looked at that and really mapped things out. And so what we found is that there's really kind of what we call in the Leadership Academy three phases to growth as a leader. Um, and I can get into the three, but what we find is a lot of leaders, they want to just jump to, I want to be super big, but they haven't built. The first one is the foundation. Then the second is you build what we call accelerated growth. And you can grow easier once you get the foundation in. It's just like building a building, right? You can't
Mm.
build a skyscraper without a good foundation. And too many people want to jump ahead. So we literally, if you were to come into leadership group, we let's get your foundation built here in the first couple months. That's real key. It helps your revenue. It helps you get some visibility. It really helps you have reasons to partner with agents. So that's building the foundation is really critical. And then you can move into the other two phases. But that's the first part. But you're at each phase as a leader, your skill set and what you need to do changes, if that makes sense.
Mm. So, I mean, what when you say building a foundation, though, like, what do you mean? What is the foundation? Give me some insights to just that.
Okay. Most operations, and I mean most, not just a few, they they're dealing with commodity pricing pressure, right? So they're fighting for every deal. They're messaging and building their brand. Nobody knows who they are. It's really kind of being ignored. And then they've got a three with building relationships, whether it be with agents, builders. By the way, Bill, you did a great job on your agent or your builder deal the other day. I was really impressed with that.
That was pretty awesome.
But whether their process is just clunky and awkward, and you're really just asking for deals, and when you're doing that, you got a job. What you really want to do is build partnerships with strategic people so that they're working for you 24/7 a day. Does that make sense? So I get my pricing structure right. I got to have a perfect offer that really separates me out, that's compelling, that I know what the consumer's hot buttons are. If I'm building relationships with agents, with builders, with divorce attorneys, whomever that can be, how is that? What's the perfect offer for that? How do I make that compelling? That's a little bit different skill set. And then the third is how do you create some content to help you get recognized and people raising their hands saying, hey, I want to find out a little bit more about this. And so that's the foundation. We got a map for that. And then we got a map for the scaling process. Once you get your foundation built, you got some steadiness, some stability. And then once you do that, we can go ahead and start to scale a little bit. And that's where you really get into building a message as a recruiter that attracts the kind of people you want. So many people have a hard time attracting quality recruits. They have a hard time because the manager, God bless them, and I've been there. Everything has to go through them. They're the most important piece. Every decision, every problem, and so they don't get any leverage. And so this is where a lot of burnout happens. So you really got to be able to, once your foundation's in place, get some leaders underneath you and really get them buying in, and systems and data starts becoming more important as you go to that next level. Does that make sense?
It Go ahead. Somebody was going to
Can,
say
can I,
something.
can I ask? I want to ask a question of the group here, and don't put where you work, right? So this is not meant to be anything weird or anything like that. But I'm just as you're sitting there talking, things are going through my head, Kevin, of like what to have in place to attract people. In the chat, just put like one word or one phrase or a couple sentence, like and if it's your own shop, like same question. Why do you what attracted you to work there? Like, what is there that you like? Like, I love working where I work because blank, or I love working, Don Lake is my branch manager. I love working with Don, and don't put names in, but I love working with my branch manager, my district manager, my company because blank. What's that one thing, like the big thing for you? Like what is that? I'm just curious what it is. 'Cause Kevin and I were talking we're recording a podcast and that kind of question come up and I'm just curious. Very interesting. Freedom.
It is interesting. Culture definitely had a lot going on there. Support for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
not seeing is the comp plan.
It's interesting. It is.
It is interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I did see one, the opportunity to build something. So there's
Interesting.
wherever that person works, they have some sort of structure that where they can essentially run their own business within the business, which we all can kind of do, of course.
Very, very interesting. Scott Carlin called the boss is one handsome dude.
Okay, there
Scott.
you go.
Scott.
Hey.
Scott is the boss, right? So
Hey, can I add something? I can't type right now though.
what is it, Sheriff?
Sure, Sharon. Go ahead.
So, when I came to where I work right now, it was about a 2-day interview process, and the one thing that impressed me was the way that every department works with every other department to support each other,
Hmm.
which supports me. So I think that's a big thing too, is that each piece that you put in place has to be able to work together with the other pieces to support each other.
Hmm.
Sharon, I think that makes perfect sense because so many they say culture, but to them, culture is well, we're good people. That's not really a culture. It's a what you're talking about for their culture. They mapped out what each person's role is and how they interact and what are their standards to each other and how they're going to be accountable to one another, just like a sports team would be. Right.
Right.
And when you see that, I've heard that before, then, hey, these people really work together. That's something I can trust. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's kind of that second phase. You first got to kind of get what you have, and then how do you put that in place so the rest of the group, that's that, scaling that where you really start to grow, what we call the accelerated growth. But too many people, they want to come in and they want to go right to the scale piece, the real high end. I was at dinner. I was telling Carl, I got a couple of friends. They just retired. One retired a few years ago from IBM and was a COO. I mean, a top level. And the guy who took his place just retired. We were at dinner on Friday night and with a young entrepreneur, which was fun. And we were talking about the difference and your skill set as your company grows has to be more about building leaders, building that culture and taking it to the next level and letting them do it. Where those first two phases is more about you as a manager, in that second piece, it's kind of like you're putting a Lego together. You got to have each part working together to put the little, I don't know if Lego is a good example or not, but to put the little team together. So it really there, but each phase is important, and we've mapped them all out. But literally, how if you're at that foundation stage, how can you add, $10,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue and quick and get some stability going? That's the first phase is about stability and being,
Would, would,
building the part. Then it's how do you take it to the next level, the accelerated growth.
would you say the biggest mistake? I'm just sitting here thinking out loud. Uh, would you say the biggest mistake is trying to bypass the first step foundation and go straight to growth and scalability when I don't have my foundation, or is it one of the other three?
No, I think that probably is the big. They come in and it may be because of what we present. People, hey, I'm excited. I see what some of your guys are doing, and they've really grown, and they
Mm,
want to go recruit and they want to start adding. But to everybody's point who made the comment, they haven't built that culture, the process, the stability yet. And when you're doing that, you're really just out there asking somebody to come join you and, hey, I got a job for you. I don't want a job. I'm betting my career, my income, my future, my family, right? I want something that I can build something, right? And I enjoy it and I trust in the people I work with. But you gotta build that foundation first. Doesn't take long. It takes 3, 4 months typically. And once you get that, then the rest of it, the growing piece gets easier, better, faster. You really can stand out and differentiate yourself.
You said 3 or 4 months. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Is like, how long does it take to get this foundation built? Culture keeps coming up. It was that was the first things that popped up. There, it seemed in a chat right now. Jeff even put it in their culture. But my
And,
my my question is how do you build culture?
or wait,
Let's
before you
define
wait,
what
wait,
is
Kevin,
culture.
before you do that, I got a question
Yeah,
in the chat again. What does culture mean? Like when you said,
yeah.
even if you didn't say the culture, like, hey, I like where I work or who I work with or sit my, like, what does culture mean? Like describe it. I like it because of culture, because what does that mean? Like they're like, what is, I don't even want to say, like, for instance, like, what does culture mean? Like, what is that?
I, personally, for me,
Yeah.
I think a lot of other folks just think, well, our culture, we're fun to be with. We're a fun group. We hang out, we get along, we're nice to people. That's part of the culture, but
Mhm.
it's more a not only what is our mindset on the business, what is our mindset on where we're going, what's our mindset and rules and standards in the way we're going to operate together, just as Sharon said, right? These people came, I've had people, I lost recruits, in fact, because of this. They came and they went someplace, said, why? And they said, because when I met with that management team, I just heard they really kind of everybody was on the same page on where they were going as an organization, and then everybody was very clear on their role and how they were going to take care. Man, that was an eye opener. um, so for me, culture's kind of as Sharon pointed out.
Mm.
I think that's to build an organizational culture, right? And you're going to work on it at each phase, and how you implement it at each phase is a little bit different, but that's really what you're building towards.
Mhm.
What do you guys think?
I tell you, I think it definitely though starts with whoever the leader is, right?
100%.
The leader. Something that I learned about leadership is that no matter what's going on, you have to be the guiding light, right? You have to be. It's all okay. We're going to be fine. This is what we're going to do. This is how we operate, right? You have to be able to snuff out the noise and squash the noise, uh, and bring everybody back to the vision, if you will, right? And so I think culture definitely, there's a head that kind of, and everything goes down from the head to the rest of the team. But I think it definitely requires a. I think whoever's leading, that's going to be kind of reflective of the culture. Who that person is as a person will be reflective of the culture in the team. I think. I mean, what do you guys think?
I, I'd agree. The leader kind of sets the pace, sets the tone,
Yeah.
right? And you can look at the different leaders we've had in government. I don't want to go into politics, but each one was a little different in the way that they shaped it and modeled it, and different people are attracted to it. But for what you want to build, man, you better get it right in your head, and you better believe in it, because you got to convey to others that, hey, follow me up this hill, follow me into
Mm,
battle. That's what
mm.
you're asking them to do every day. And if you're just kind of well, mm, it's not much leadership there.
Yeah, you could get thrown into a leadership position and not really be, prepared for it or apt to be in that role, and then that will definitely show, right? That will show, right? So
Yeah.
I think you have to. I think you got to really want it. right? You got to really want it. You got to have a strong vision. You got to really want it, and then a culture can develop around that. I think, you know.
But you got to build it. You build that foundation, and then you can grow it from there.
Mm,
Just to come in and think, okay, I'm gonna because I said so, right? That's
You know
not
what I
gonna
think it comes down to, Kevin? I'm just sitting here thinking again.
mm.
God knows I don't do that often.
go.
Is yeah, I felt the earth shake. I think what it boils down to, I always I had this vision one time,
How are you?
or the picture in my head,
Yeah.
and it's like everybody's walking around with a sign around their neck saying, "Make me feel important."
Mm.
It's part of it.
Right? All of us, like myself, everybody here, like make me feel important. And I think, when I sit watching the culture thing, I was looking at that, and I think a lot of it was like, hey, and I'm talking like I don't know if Vince Queen is my owner of my company, it's like, hey Vince, make me feel important. Like I'm not saying that, but that's kind of like that's the core need that I make because if I'm important, then when I have an underwriting issue or a help issue or a pricing issue, I think you're going to listen to me. And if I think, if the company's all about how big that person is or how big they look and they kind of suck all the oxygen out of the room, I feel like a peon and I don't have a voice. And I think that's poison.
Mm.
Yeah, 100%. You'll see leaders where they want to come in and impress you on how great they are,
Hmm.
right? Rather than I want to feel important, but also I want to be part of an or different. There's different social needs. I also may want to feel, hey, I really feel like I'm part of the team. I'm with something that's bigger than myself. So I want to feel good about it. I want to feel important. I want you to recognize that and listen to me. But I also want to feel, man, because I can't do it all myself. I'm with this team that is really of quality and I'm accepted and recognized.
Hmm.
It's how people feel on a Sunday night. I read that somewhere.
Mm.
I like that.
Mm.
That's pretty good.
Mm.
Good deal. He's
Yeah, I
quiet,
think
but stuff.
I think that I think too that leaders too, those who are spearheading culture, they're typically being led as well, right? They typically have someone else that they're inspired by as
Yeah.
well. So, I don't know where the top of the pyramid lands on that for everyone, but typically, I don't know. Good culture, I think, is good leadership, and it's from the top down. But I do think that it's the spillover of good leadership is what I
Yeah.
think it is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the president of the United States, whoever he or she is, right?
Right.
That they're surrounded by a cabinet member, a cabinet group, and that's really
Right.
who's running the country. The president, he or she is the face of it per se, but the cabinets are the ones that's really running it.
Yeah.
The leader doesn't have anything to do with the military, even though they're commander in chief. It's the generals and they're the ones that actually do it. And he or she listens to them on what to do, and that's how the country's run.
Mm.
Well, and
Yeah.
as you grow, you're going to need those quality. I mean, and Carl, for instance, you've got, Diane and Kristen and the team, but they're great leaders beneath you too. So as you grow, you got to be, it's not about me. It's about the other leaders and the rest of the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, we've mapped out the different phases. And if anybody wants to get the map, we've got that, don't we, Jen? That they can download or,
Yeah.
or
Yep.
put their hand for.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
We've
put a
got a
link in the
giveaway.
chat.
Go ahead. Sorry, Jen.
I was just gonna say we'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah, there's a link in the chat for you guys to grab some stuff on this. Because this, here's the thing too, is that, we're talking leadership and we're talking culture and all that. We're talking branch management and managing, but it applies to us as individuals.
Yeah.
LOs 100%. So I would grab this download. It's lobcstuff.com. LOBC stuff is just the speakable link so you can get it.
What a great name.
Kevin's put together some stuff
Some
appropriately
stuff. So
said.
you get lobcstuff.com.
Stuff. LOBC stuff. Yeah, it was some other leaders on the leadership team, Carl, that came up with that.
I
So
like
I,
that.
I would, yeah,
So
yeah, I would,
we surround ourselves with leaders, Frank.
that's what it is. We
How that
certainly
works.
do. And but yeah, go ahead and grab that material, guys, because no matter what, especially if you're in leadership, management, that kind of a thing, it's going to be wildly beneficial to you. But even just as an originator, because you're still a leader, no matter what whether you think it or not, you're still a leader. If you're going to be wildly successful in this business, you have to be it. And